Hey guys, what's up? Becky here, giving you a quick 1 week post reset update on how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, and how my food reintegration plan is going. So, if you guys have been following along with my journey, you know that I just completed the 21-day Ultimate Reset program last week. At the end of that program, I was feeling pretty darn awesome. I had lost some weight, I had lost some inches, I was sleeping really excellent. I had a lot of mental clarity and energy, and I was eating a predominantly plant-based diet. Okay, so overall, my experience with the Ultimate Reset was amazing, and I felt awesome. So one thing you need to know if you're considering the reset is that once your 21 days are over, you are essentially back on your own as far as what you choose to eat. They have a recommendation that you reintegrate foods very slowly, like over the course of the next 21 days. So they really should probably call it the 42-day reset. But to very slowly reincorporate, grains and legumes into your diet, and then animal proteins and dairy and that sort of thing, and just phase it in really slowly. And even some foods maybe just eliminate permanently. The whole purpose of this is to take your body down to a very base level, and then as you add foods back in, you can really see how they affect you and how they affect your energy, how they affect your digestion and all that stuff. So it's kind of like giving yourself a self-allergy test, if that makes sense. So I wasn't really prepared to do that. I wasn't prepared to take another 21 days and essentially stick with a vegan and vegetarian diet. I had some social commitments that really didn't allow me to do that fully. So I did dive back into eating more regular foods quickly. Okay, so first takeaway from this week is I actually don't recommend you do that. If you're considering doing the Ultimate Reset, you really want to plan out, obviously, your 21 days to strictly follow the plan, the cleanse part, and then realistically plan out another 2 weeks to essentially follow the plan in reverse, right? So go from omnivore diet, vegetarian to vegan during your first 21 days, and then for the next 2 weeks, go back to vegetarian and then back to omnivore. You really want to consider doing this over 5 weeks, okay? What I did instead was I jumped back into eating more regular foods right in week 1. I kind of rode the fence, so to speak. I incorporated in some meals, like about 1 meal a day. I would have animal protein, I would have grains, I would have maybe alcohol, I might have some wine, and I also reincorporated some sugar in the form of chocolate chips in these banana muffins that my husband makes, which are amazing. So I added back in a lot of stuff right away. The only thing I really haven't added back in is dairy. I'm holding off on that as long as possible just because I personally feel like that affects my body the most. But one thing I noticed, guys, from this week where what I did is I took the leftover food that I had from my cleanse. So I had a lot of vegetables left. I had some of those funky ingredients you have to buy in week 1 left over, and I wanted to use those up so that they don't go to waste. So I made some of the recipes from the reset for my meal staples this week. I made a lot of the grains. I had some millet, rice and beans, lentils. I made the hearty vegetable miso soup, the sweet potato roasted pepper soup, and basically just kept with, and the microgreen salad, I kept with some of the recipes that I liked and enjoyed, and I worked those into my menu in addition to, pairing them with like animal proteins or fruit or whatever, okay? So it was like a middle ground, I thought. Takeaway from doing that is that by adding back in meat, grains, alcohol, and sugar, I felt like crap this week. I really did. I felt like crap. I felt tired and sluggish. I found myself turning to caffeine again to wake myself up in the afternoon. I found myself not sleeping as well. I found myself with a lot of gas. Like the things that I'm eating are definitely irritating my digestive tract. I just found myself not feeling as alert or clear or motivated or whatever. I just felt off this whole week. And I was very aware of the choices I was making in the food department, right? Because I wanted to be cognizant of, if I eat something, how does it affect me? So to suffice to say that, like, I didn't miss not having the meat. Right now that I've added it back in, I can see where it's a convenience, right? You know, like, especially if you have a family, you can grill up a whole bunch of meats and that's just an easy protein to grab. Half of me thinks, okay, well, wouldn't it be just as easy to grill up some tempeh and have that in there as a protein option to grab, right? The grains I really do enjoy. I'm glad to have grains back in my diet. I plan to use up all those, and I can see from, like, following the meal plan from the Ultimate Reset Week 1 where incorporating grains and vegetables into your diet is actually a good thing. Things that I didn't feel good about was alcohol really affected me, right? I hadn't had any alcohol in 3 weeks or more, and that first glass of wine, it didn't even taste right. It tasted like really acidic and weird. And after like half a glass of wine, it affected me. Like, I felt buzzed and on my way to being loopy in half a glass of wine, which is nuts. Same thing with sugar, right? I noticed that as soon as I started having sugar again, I started craving sugar again. Whereas on the reset, you know, yeah, I was like, oh, I wish I could have a donut, but I didn't really crave that sugar like I have to have it. This was 2 days ago, I guess on Friday. I was craving ice cream like an insane person. It was nuts. And I made a deal with myself. I said, I'm not going to go get it until Saturday. If I'm still craving it, then I'll go get it. Craving passed, but it's funny because I didn't crave sugar like hardcore like that while I was following the reset eating plan. Okay, so what am I saying with all this? I don't want to bore you guys with like litany of details, but I was surprised to find that I just do not feel as good this week eating my more normal diet from before. That includes animal protein, that includes grains, veggies, fruits, processed sugar, and alcohol, as I did when I was eating super clean. Like, the difference is drastic. So what I'm considering doing is backing off some of those foods in this next week and seeing if I can control how I feel, like if I can push myself back more toward that feel-good place by having the majority of my meals be plant-based, by cutting down or cutting out alcohol and caffeine again, and sugar again, and sticking only to fruit-based sugars, and see if I get back to that place of feeling really energetic and positive again. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna experiment with that this week. The other thing that I'm curious about is, you know, I stopped drinking the distilled water and went back to regular filtered water from the fridge. I don't feel like that should make that much difference, but I am actually curious to know if that, you know, hydrating from a completely pure source of water makes any difference versus just, you know, regular water. I'm not sure. But that's my plan, guys. I printed this out the other day. I'm following the Portion Fix container plan right now. So this is actually the vegan eating plan. It's a little bit different than the base plan that comes with my Country Heat program, but I'm going to follow that and see if I can't make myself on purpose feel like I did when I was on the reset by following a majority of a plant-based diet instead of a more omnivoric diet, and see how it goes, right? That's all you can do, is continue to experiment. Your body is your playground and do what makes you feel good. Okay, so hopefully this is helpful. Recommendations for you if you're going to tackle the reset is obviously stick to the 21 days, but then plan 2 weeks after that to really slowly integrate foods back from a totally plant-based diet into whatever, you know, wherever you want to land after that, whether it's partially plant-based or just go right back to what you were doing. You know, it's up to you. But I personally feel miles less good this week than I did last week when I was on the reset. So trying to find that middle ground, and I hope you guys get value out of this and can help you find your middle ground as well. All right, if you get value from it, give me a like, give me a share, and post your comments below. See ya.